Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the round 3 of the Tata Steel Chess 2025 tournament. The tournament is taking place in Netherlands in Vacancy, and the tournament is going absolutely nuts. So, as you guys know, that by the way, guys, Gukesh in this tournament we have the world champion, the reigning new world champion Gukesh playing in this tournament, which is an insane thing. He won his first round, he then drew his second round, and he's been so far so good. I mean, and talking about Prague, he has in round two he won against Hari Krishna. He grinded the game. I've already shared the video about the games of round 2, so make sure to follow that if you haven't. But the round 3 was even more insane. Well, obviously we got many draws. We got in round 3 we got, I guess, 4 draws, I believe. I have to check again, but some of the games had a result, had quite a result. And I think there were only 2 games that had a result, and I will be sharing with you 2 of those games. But before we jump into 2 of those games, we need to follow the ritual, which is to follow the World Champions game. So, Gukesh is now playing against Fabiano Caruana, the legend of the game, and Gukesh is facing Caruana with the white pieces this time, and he started off with d4. Caruana plays d5. We got the c4 with the Queen's Gambit, Queen's e6, and Knight f3, and Knight f6. So this select Queen's Gambit declined, Knight c3, Bishop b4, got some activity going on. Here Gukesh decided to take on d5, and he takes d5, Bishop g5. So as you can see, white's pieces are out in the game. These 2 knights are pretty much, although this knight is kind of pinned, so we won't say it's inactive, but we won't say it's active, but yeah, we always got this queen a4. I mean, obviously after queen a4 you got knight c6, but yeah, I found it fun, so I wanted to show you that. But yeah, f6, attacking the bishop goes back to h4, bishop f5, queen a4. So Gukishin did play my fun move, knight c6, defending the bishop, and now e3. So the e3 idea is nothing but just to play bishop e5 in the future, putting some pressure on this knight. So that's what the idea is. g5, attacking the bishop goes back to g3, and now black decided to short castle. Now and now as you can see in this position seemingly black's king is quite weak, I would say, because the pawns are, even though black is trying to put some attack here on the queen's on the king side, but yeah, this is quite risky attack. So bishop d5. So here Caruana had to take on c3. It was forced. Bishop takes c3. Pawn takes, and white got this nice center. Although the black's knight has always got an outpost on e4, knight e7, knight e2, trying to defend the outpost square. Knight g6, queen d1. Queen d1 idea is very insane move. It's an insane move. The idea is to go queen f3, and also you can now maybe try to play h4 h5 ideas as well in future. So, and here black decided, you know what, I'm gonna go h5 first. So Gukesh is like, okay, I will play h3, c6, attacking the bishop. Now bishop can come on e2, trying to put some pressure on this pawn. Bishop comes back to e2, and now h4, trying to attack this bishop. Bishop goes back all the way to h2 on leave square, and now b5. Black is like trying to play with those pawns. a5, b5, b4, everything is coming. Maybe some rook b8, b4 idea might also jump out. Here white should only castle, doesn't have to take so much risk. But here, as Gukesh, he likes to push his pawns. He went a4, a6, and now Gukesh decided to castle. Rook e8, rook e1, queen e7, trying to improvise the position. Bishop f3, and yeah, now the rook is Now you always got e4, e5 coming in future whenever necessary. Bishop e4, stopping all that. And now, when I saw this position, I was like, okay, we can take the knight, take with the knight, right? But I was like, okay, after knight takes, yeah, this is looking quite ugly. What you can do is you can play bishop g4, simply bishop g4, and let's say if knight takes, queen takes, position is very active for white. But here Gukesh plays bishop e2. Fabiano plays bishop f5 again. Again, Gukesh is trying to repeat here. Will he accept a draw? Is he going for a draw? Bishop e4, bishop e2, and yes, Gukesh decided to draw this game because I don't know why he decided to draw, because I think what he was worried about, or maybe he thought that it's risky, is let's say after bishop g4, um, let's say knight takes g4, queen takes g4, and he thought that maybe bishop e5, or maybe even let's say like there is this f6 coming, or f5. F5 is coming, so he was like quite scared of f5. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not a grandmaster, but I think he thought that this wasn't a uh, good choice. But also you always got queen h5, so you got some crazy, this knight is hanging, so you can play queen f7 to defend it, or maybe even queen f6. Both works, but yeah. But so yeah, so Gukesh was like, I'm happy with the draw, and with that, and Gukesh is now still, he's still undefeated. He's two out of three so far, so it's a good score so far. Now, jumping on to the next game, this game was also very insane. Nordic versus Max Vormerdam, and Max Vormerdam is so far doing good, not so bad, but yeah, he needs to find his first win. So, and meanwhile, Abdus is unstoppable. So here Max started off with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and now bishop e5. So in the normal Ruy Lopez, we got the classic Ruy Lopez, a6, bishop to a4, knight to f6, d3, opening the dark square bishop and trying to come on bishop on g5, bishop c5, and now c3, d3, d6, castles, and h3. So stopping any bishop g4 shenanigans. And here, Notre played bishop a7. This was a insane move. Bishop a7. What a move this is! Like going all the way back, because what he saw that there is this b4 coming up, so he was like, he didn't want it to give any tempo to match. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna go on a7. Rook e1, trying to control this file, and meanwhile preparing to play d4 anytime soon. Knight to e7, and now d4 indeed played. Knight to g6, and now bishop to c2, trying to defend this pawn, although the pawn is defended, but yeah. Bishop d7. Now what you can do, obviously you won't take the pawn, but also what you can do is develop your knight. Knight bd2, or maybe even bishop e3, anything is good. Bishop e3, indeed, rook e8, knight bd2, and now a5. So a5, the idea is to stop any b4 ideas. But here Max is like, okay, I won't play b4, I will play a4, and now I might try to go for b4 ideas. It's like, okay, bishop c6, white is queen b1, and the whole point is there is something coming up. Not now, but in future something. If once this center pawns are vanished from from the board, there's something coming up. So white is cooking something. Queen e7 by Nordebet. And now here white decided to take on e5. He's like, I want to take the center. Pawn takes, bishop takes, rook takes, and now bishop d3. Complete idea is simple. Some bishop is b5 is one of the ideas. Although you can also play knight f4 at some point. You can play knight f4. You can play rook d8, trying to control this rank. But here Nordebet plays knight to f8. The idea is simple. I think the idea is to go 97 or 97 knight b6, or maybe there is also this idea of 96 knight c5. There are two ideas in this position, so let's see, knight c4 and knight d7. So the idea is simple, coming on coming on b6 and also trying to defend this pawn. By the way, this pawn is defended twice actually now. Queen c2 and now g6. Both are playing some defensive moves. B3, b6. Both are playing some waiting moves. Rook d1, and look at this. Rook a. There's no point. There was no use of playing like there was no use of playing such a rook a8 ideas. Maybe the idea is that Nordirberg is waiting for Max to make some interesting choices. Rook a8, queen to b2, knight to h5, trying to go on knight f4 and trying to put some pressure on the bishop. Knight to e3, rook to d8, bishop goes to c2, avoiding any knight f4 ideas. So now Nordirberg is like, okay, I will return back knight f6, knight to c4, and now king to g7. What a move! Whenever these grandmasters play some king moves like this, I feel so like it's like such gangster chess. And now b4, but Max is like, okay, enough is enough waiting. Well, let's go for the kill. b4, trying to break rook 8, rook is 1, and now at 6. These pawns are acting like a bunker. It's like king is very much safe in behind these pawns. And yeah, rook e3, and now knight to h7. The idea is to go knight f8, knight e6. There's this idea. Knight g5 idea is not so good, but yeah, I mean, whatever. Yeah, rook a7, rook e1, and yeah, knight g5 played indeed, which I thought was a bad idea, but okay, I mean, these grandmasters calculate such deep lines. And also, by the way, look at the time, 5 minutes on the clock. But you always get 50 minutes bonus time after 40 moves, so Max need to be careful. Knight f6, b5, attacking the bishop. Bishop goes back to b7, c4, knight to d7. Idea is to go 95, 95, knight c5, and yeah, so far. But now 95. Oops. And in this position, you think it's a blunder. Like, why is a blunder, bro? Why it's a blunder? How it's a blunder? Because here in this position, Nordirberg sacrificed the knight. Now you might think, whoa, what? Why? How it is a brilliancy? I mean, if g takes h3, queen g5 check, and you win the knight. That's why it's a brilliancy. And the king is completely doomed. The king side is completely open then. But obviously, Max won't take. He went king f1, the best move. But now, simply bishop takes d5, and if the pawn takes, knight comes back to g5. He has done his job. Nordirberg is up a pawn. Rook a3, and now f6, solidifying the position, and now king e2. What Max is trying to do is put his king behind this queen and bishop. But now knight c5. Nordirberg is right on time, putting some pressure on this pawn. So many things are coming. And now king d1. But now rook a8. Rook a8, I don't know what the idea is. The idea I think is the rook d8, some rook d8 ideas. King to c1, rook d8 idea, as I said, g3, and a knight to f7. f4. Max is trying his best to open up the position, but it's very difficult against Nordirberg, who is in such classy form and is also up a pawn in this position. And now look at this, rook takes d5. What a move! What a move! You can't take because it's not a mate, but I mean, yeah, you always got this bishop d1. But let's finish them. So knight comes to f3, try to defend the rook. Rook comes to h5, e5 takes, and a rook e3, trying to put some pressure on this pawn and also trying to take control of this rank. And a knight e7. Knight e7 is trying to defend this pawn again. Takes, knight takes, and a rook d1. The rook d1 idea, I don't know why. It's a great move. I can't even explain. I'm so sorry, but I think the idea is, according to my knowledge, it is rook d5. Knight f6, trying to stop rook d5. I think it was rook d5 because now why would you play knight f6? Because you want to stop this rook d5. And yeah, both sides repeat, but then king h7. Not if I say nope, no draw. I'll play for the win. And now queen c3. And now knight f6 again. Rook g1. But now knight d5, missing the fork. There is a fork in this position. How are you going to save it? Bishop takes g6, king h8, not even taking the bishop, not even bother to take the bishop. Queen d4, knight takes rook, bishop takes rook, but now queen a3. The king is super unsafe. Knight d3, everything is coming, everything is coming. King d2, and now you can, now the best move here is knight f5. Obviously the knight f5 should be the best move because you want to get away from this pin, because now you want to make this knight a great active square so that knight c4 is coming. And now the knight f5, indeed Max resigned the game here, and Nordirbeck just butchered Max in this entire position. Like, look at this. Like, like, how do these guys play chess? Like, who plays chess like this? Come on, bro. Knight d5, bishop takes. Not even bother to take the rook. Obviously, you can't take because boom. But also, if knight takes c, knight takes c3, then rook takes c8, and you're winning the game. But king h8, and after takes, and just butcher. What a game by Mordir pick up to Satarao. He is unstoppable. And so far his score is, I think, 2.5 out of 3, which is insane, bro. He he in the before this tournament he gave an interview and he was like, I am here to win this tournament. I will try to go for the win. And he's going for the win. And finally, the last game of this video is the big one. Arjun Erigaisi and Praggnanandhaa, both Indian youngsters facing each other, and Arjun not having his good time in this tournament so far. Meanwhile, Prag is having a good time as he defeated Hari Krishna. He just came defeating Hari Krishna, and today he's playing against Arjun with the white pieces. So he started off with d4. We got knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3. So king's Indian, I believe, and now it's transposed into, I think, queen's gambit. Queen's gambit g3. It's like a Catalan now. Now it's a Catalan after g3, bishop g2, c5, castles, knight c6, takes, queen takes, rook takes, and bishop takes. So Arjun is up a pawn, but I mean this pawn is going to be a target very soon. So knight bd2, attacking the pawn, and obviously Arjun decided to give away the pawn as it's an extra pawn. Castles, and now look at this. Look at the knight, bro. What is this? Like, who plays chess like this, bro? Who plays chess like this? The idea is simple. Knight d3, by the way. Bishop d7. Rook b1, trying to take control of this entire file. Knight to a5, and on knight b3. Takes. Bishop c6. Everything is traded. Now Arjun is like, I will go for the. I think both sides here are playing for the draw. I don't know. I don't know about Prab, but I think Arjun. Knight d3, attacking the bishop. Bishop goes all the way back to e7. Bishop e3. Now look at the position of white. White is completely good because white got these two pass pawns. These pawns are very bad because first of all, both are separated from each other, and secondly, white's pieces are very active. The knight is coming to jump here. The bishop is super active. The knight is very active, and the rooks are super active. Meanwhile, these rooks are useless so far. Rook c8, trying to make this a pass pawn. Bishop c5, king f8, rook a1. Prague is playing on activity so far. Rook c7, king f1, trying to improvise the position. Knight d7, and now Prague decided to take the bishop, trade off the bishop. Rook a3. Idea is to double up here double up the stack here. c5, and now c4, stopping any shenanigans. Rook b7, rook a1, and now a5. King e1. The idea is simple. Idea is to come to the idea is king d2, king c3. This is the idea, trying to defend this pawn. Not the rook, not the pawn. But yeah. King d6, and now knight to c1. Prague likes to move his knight backwards. You know, in this, like, two times he has done the same thing. Like, what the hell, bro? Like, come on. Rook a7, knight a2. The idea is boom and boom. Prague being super tricky here. King c6, knight c3, but still there is this knight b5 idea is coming. So knight to b6, f4, and now knight c8, and now knight b5, attacking the rook. Rook comes to a6, and now rook d1. Idea is simple. There's this e4, f4, f5, everything is coming. Knight b6, rook a2, and now rook f8. This is a mistake. Can you guess why? Because of knight c3. Now you might think, well, you are saying in the engine moves. Bro, I can tell you why the knight c3 is the best move, and also why the rook d6 is coming. Meanwhile, not even knight c3 idea, I will explain why. Because knight c3, the idea is to go knight e4, and the same idea. But even after that, rook d6 is the direct attack. Rook d6, king b7, and just bring the other rook on d2, and boom. Rook d6 by Prraaagggg, he will find this, and now knight c3. Now knight c3 idea is simple. Knight a4 is coming, and also maybe rook d2 at some point. There are so many things coming. Rook comes to a8, and now rook d2 indeed play. It's a mistake, but it's a absolutely great move for me because now look, knight b5 is coming anytime. So yeah, rook c8, rook a2, both sides play for repeat some. I think it was a repetition, but now rook d1. Prraaagg is like, I like this position. Prraaagg felt he's good in, he has a good position. He won't go for the draw. Rook a4 7, rook a1, trying to double up the stack here again, trying to go for some trick price, but okay, this is a blunder because knight b5 again. But this time, after knight b5, rook a6, you got a check and you win this pawn, which was indeed found by Prraaagg. And after knight takes, now Prraaagg is just up a pawn, knight c5, attacking the pawn, attacking this pawn and this pawn, although it's covered by the rook, but yeah, knight f6, and now knight f5, f3, boom, 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 everything is coming. Knight e4, knight d2, trying to trade off the knights, and Arjun is like, no, I don't want to trade, king f2, knight g4, trying to fork the king and the h2 pawn, but simply king g2, e5, and now knight e4. Prraaagg is being tricky. Knight c5 is hanging. Takes, rook e8, and now knight takes c5, gaining a tempo on attacking the rook. Rook c6, knight d3. Also, this pawn is defended by the a2 rook. Rook g6, h3. There is a discovered check, but knight e3, simply king f2. There's nothing more you can do. Yes, you can give rook g2 check, but after king f3, there's no more check. And meanwhile, the a5 pawn is hanging. There are so many things coming. Knight e 95, rook a5, everything is coming. Rook h2, trying to attack the h3 pawn. Prraaagg defends it with knight f2. He likes to play backward moves, so it's very easy for him to find this knight f2 move. g5, trying to give away the pawn, but also gaining a temp. But also there's a trick of winning the knight. But Prraaagg won't fall. He will instead took on a5. G takes f4, and now rook a7 check. King d6, knight e4 check. King e6, and yeah, just absolutely. This is just game over now. Mate in 2 now threat, and obviously there is a mate in 2 found by Prraaagg. Rook d7, and the king doesn't have here escape square. It doesn't can't go here and here. Only move is this, and kaboom, checkmate. Absolutely butchered Arjun. Absolutely just dominated Arjun, and Prraaagg is on 2.5 out of 3 as well. Prraaagg, look at the way he converted this position. Like 90, look at the nice journey. Knight first it was on first he came to e4. After takes, rook e8 attacking the knight c5, rook c6, knight d3, rook g6, and yeah, and the dust setter. What a game! That was a superb game by Prraaagg, and meanwhile this tatasteelchess is going absolutely crazy. I am very excited for round 4, and let's see how much fire we got on the chessboard. More hope, and Prraaagg is doing his best job. Prraaagg is playing. He's back in form, and he's just butchering his opponents. Even no matter who it is, whether it's Hari Krishna or it's Arjun. Arjun is having a tough time there. He has lost 13 ratings in this tournament, but yeah, we're getting some great chess, some crazy chess. So that's all I got for you today. And go make an account on our post chess platform and do you can earn money by playing 1v1. And yeah, that's all I got for you today. And stay tuned for more Tata Steel Chess recaps. Get out of here.